Welcome to part two of WWE's financial report and the breakdown where we left off because of my stupidity and I forgot the videos were 15 minutes and not 20 minutes was Monday Night Raw. You can basically mute any of these programs now because there's nothing to carry. Bad word. Nothing to see really. You can, like I said before, you can miss these programs for months at a time with the current development structure they have. Pick them back up and know exactly where you left off. Um, like I said before, Vince cites Nexus as one of his strongest assets in the company turnaround, cites it as one of the turnarounds for the company. Uh, I just don't see it. Uh, they're currently seeking new cable networks to broadcast, which is what they would have had they not bought out everybody. They wouldn't be looking. They would already have deals established. But that's just me, and again, I'm just a fan, but the fans don't know anything. Um, More or less, let me sum this up a little quicker. Nexus is not one of your favorable assets. Very few people watched it, especially after they seen what you were going to do to it. It's not one of your favorable assets. SummerSlam 2010, great 7 on 7, but outside of that, what did you really do for anybody else? You made a 15-minute IC title match that should have been a great fucking match into a disqualification by, of all people, the Nexus, and another one a week after due to Vicky Guerrero. Can we please get rid of Vicky Guerrero? Can we cut her a check and say we apologize for your loss and ship her out? What does she do for the product? I mean, maybe she's doing just that. People love to hate her, but it's nails on a chalkboard, and she's nothing to do with wrestling. Her husband was the only wrestler. Outside of that, what does she bring to the table? But that can be said about a lot of WWE talent. Something else to get in on. Uh, they hope their storylines and financials with what he's outlined as his turnaround points within the next 7 to 8 months. I'll be back way before that to reiterate that again, World Wrestling Entertainment sucks. Um, Going back on my rant, why aren't these shareholders asking for him to step down? This man should be more behind the scenes now. He used to be an innovator, yes. He used to be one of the best, unrivaled, and no one could compete. But now you could throw a match on in your backyard, and it could probably get better ratings than anything WWE has to offer. I just don't understand, and by the way, this is a black and mild for all you sarcastic people. I just don't understand why these shareholders every quarter are more or less taking him at his word when the structure isn't changing to improve anything. He cites what he wants the best results out of, but you're still using the Nexus in Attitude storyline. You're bringing up things from the past because you have no original content. So, what he said before about focusing on original content, he's lying again. This man is good at this, making you think everything's kosher when it's really going to hell in a handbasket. And right now, wrestling's major brand is not in a position to compete with anyone. The only reason they're competing is because they have more money. That's it. Chris Jericho said it before. You'll never beat our financials. And that's from the past. That's not current wrestling. Because current wrestling, it's losing money. Your ROHs and your TNAs are getting more attention and they're getting more criticism because when people turn the channel, they don't want to see WWE reiterated. They want to see original content. So Vince, right there, you're a contradiction. You're not looking for original content. You're looking for whatever will make you your next dollar. So get back to the drawing board, sit down, fire who you need to fire, and fix it. You're not a stupid person, you just acted. And that's what's more irritating of all of it. And then to put the blame on two of your biggest money makers. That's more or less like what you did with Chris Benoit. You threw him under the bus. So yeah, the second quarter is all the fault of Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. I get it. You don't want to take responsibility yourself. Not many people do when they have bad news to report on anything, whether it's wrestling, politics, whatever the topic may be. But don't throw two of your biggest moneymakers under the bus because they decided to get out after dedicating years to you. It's ignorant. Again, I don't want to reiterate the same tirade. Stop blaming other people for your mistakes. It's real simple. They gave you the best they had, and they're done. Now you need to take this new talent that you have scouted for year after year, and the current talent, and actually do something with it. You're not though. These men will still continue to sit in the back. You'll keep a bloated roster, but you'll push the Nexus. What sense does that make? Let me pay these guys to push new guys when guys like Kane have already given me 10, 11 years of their time, and I've done absolutely nothing with them. There's current wrestlers that more or less have outspoken about their discomfort because nothing's happening with them. Whereas in TNA, something happens with them. It's regurgitated WWE, but they're guaranteed a little bit more of a push. Not lately, but that's why everybody ran, and you were calling it WCW 2.0 for a while. You have men. You don't need to scout anymore. Give them the month off. See what you can do in a month. If it don't work, go back to scouting. You can always pick up where you left off. But you're not focused on original content. You're not focused on anything original. It's let's ride whatever we can because we have no original ideas or content. It's exactly that. It's one big contradiction. And like I said, in-house, since when does wrestling get put on the science fiction network? I mean, it's a mockery when your best network outside of USA is SyFy. It says, oh well, nobody else will carry us, so we're going to put it on this network and see what happens. Yeah, people will watch the network because that's where the wrestling is, but does it belong there? No, it's a science fiction channel. What the hell? Superstars. Only a select few can get it. I can't get it. A buddy of mine can't get it. I enlisted in WWE On Demand because I thought it would be watchable stuff outside of the ECW material and some of their historical stuff. There's nothing new. It's $8 for nothing new, just reiterated what was good, just further proving that, hey, the current product sucks. You can always pick up where you left off. Do not throw people under the bus, especially those that have given their heart and soul to you. And say, I'm the CEO. I fucked up. I think I know everything, but I don't. So instead of trusting the people around me, I want to run this ship so badly, I'm going to run it into the ground. This is what's going to happen. Because eventually I will turn my TV off. There will be no point. You have writers. Fire them. Raw only gets a rating because it's a strong rating because it's a consistent program. Lately there hasn't been anything to follow, and this reiterates why Attitude was so good. There was something to follow. You wanted to see the end result. But when your end result of current material is the same goddamn thing week after week, Wade Barrett being upset, what does it do for you? And outside, if you end up dissolving the Nexus, what does it leave? Wade Barrett gets his title shot, and that's it. So one can assume that Nexus is going to be chalked up as a loss. Because if all you're hyping is the six-pack challenge as far as Nexus is concerned, then after Wade Barrett competes, what happens? And you're already negotiating season 3 of this crap. Do something to turn your product around, and maybe you won't be looked as the laughing stock. This was just a rant. It just irritates me. It's not anything hard. You can always go back to the way things were, and you'll get the consistency that you've been relying on. Again, when your own wrestlers say we can't be beat just because of our financials, well, that's not current financials. That's money that's been stashed. And of course, you're not going to be able to compete with 210 million in cash and investments. No current promoter I know has that to play with. Promoters locally that actually care about the wrestling are lucky if they can put on 1-2 shows a month because of the cost. Vince thinks because he can just put on a broadcast at a whim and throw a show together that it's actually shit you want to see. And the fans need to stand up and say, no, this isn't what I want to see. He needs to start seeing in his numbers that he fucked up. But it'll never happen that way because the little kids will always buy the John Cena. They like what they see. They're not old enough to understand that they're being sold a lie. Vince has no intention currently of changing the production structure or how it's produced. So how are you going to produce a better result than what you're seeing now? You're not. If things stay the same, you're going to produce the same. I thought this was a given. Forgive me for dumbing it down, but Vince obviously needed it done because he thinks he cites Nexus as his biggest accomplishment so far. It's not. You didn't know what to do with 7 guys, so you put them all on one show, proving that you didn't know what to do with 7 guys. Stay tuned for part 3. I'll get this rant a little more organized. Smoke another cigarette because this irritates me, but we'll get back into a better, we'll just highlight the financials again and get it back on track. But forgive me, again, this is Vince McMahon's fault. I didn't know it needed to be dumbed down. Stay tuned for part 3.